Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we're going to be going over the 5 reasons you should and the 5 reasons you should not buy a Volkswagen GTI Mark 1 and Mark 2. We're going to do both of them today because I didn't want to do two whole separate videos for them, and in my opinion they're very similar cars. That's going to make so many GTI guys mad, but in my opinion they're just very similar cars, man. Cut me some slack. Also, I got a haircut today. I feel like it looks pretty good. What about you guys? I like it a lot, actually. Shout out my barber, I guess you can call her. She was a girl. I don't know how that works, really. Shout out the person that cut my hair. She was great. But anyways, media of the day is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It's the first of the jetpack era Call of Duties, and a lot of people got turned off to the series at this Call of Duty, but I think it's incredible. I think it's a really fun game. The multiplayer is very good. It's kind of dead in 2026. It's like impossible to find games, unfortunately, but the multiplayer is good. It was great when it was booming. The campaign is actually really good, and the zombies is kind of mid, I'm gonna be honest, but it was still like, there was still fun to be had there. It's just a little unfortunate with the whole supply drop system with the BAL 27 Obsidian Steed and the ASM on Speakeasy. Those were nightmares. You kind of had to gamble to get the good guns, which was unfortunate, but it was still a good game. And if you haven't played it yet, I think you should definitely give it a try. But without further ado, let's go right into it with the 5 reasons you should and should not buy a Mark 1 and Mark 2 Volkswagen GTI. And reason number 1 why you should buy a Mark. I'm just gonna call it the Mark 1. We're talking about the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, but I'm just gonna call it the Mark 1 to make it easy. The reason number 1 why I think you should buy a Mark 1 is the price. Yeah, dude, these are like kind of legendary cars. Like Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTIs are legendary cars. There are cars like the Ford Mustang, for example, that kind of like quote unquote started the whole muscle car craze. There are cars like the Toyota 2000 GT that started the whole, well, it's more like the Datsun 510 that started the whole like JDM tuner craze. And then this is a car that started the whole hot hatch craze. But of all those cars, this is easily the most affordable. You could buy these things for $5 grand, $4 grand without any real problems with them whatsoever. That's a really good price for what you're getting. They're a super cool car, super iconic car, legendary car that everyone respects, everyone loves, that you can still buy for cheap, which is awesome to see. Now, in perfect condition, obviously it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but you can find like a little project one for dirt cheap. However, yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. Reason number 1 why I think you should not buy a Mark 1 GTI is because they are old as hell. These cars were made in the 80s. That's 40 years ago, dude. Like, that is just, these cars are way too old. It's not like the car's fault, obviously. Any 80s car is going to have some problems like this, but because of the fact that they're so old, they're just going to have some common problems. Rust, interior cracking, electronics going out, rubber bushings cracking, and seals cracking, and head gaskets cracking. All kinds of crap that can go wrong with age will most likely be going wrong with the Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI that you decide to buy, which is obviously not a good thing. However, with that being said, reason number 2 why I think you should buy a Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTI, and it doesn't really negate the last point that we just talked about, but it kind of makes it at least a little bit more understandable or tolerable, I guess you could say, is the fact that they are easy to work on. Yeah, there's no denying the fact that a Mark 1 or a Mark 2 GTI is literally like probably one of the easiest cars you can work on. There's just no troubles with working on it. They have the smallest engine of all time. It's extremely basic, the engine design. Everything about the car is extremely basic. It doesn't have a lot of electronics, a lot of wiring going through the car. Yes, it's German, so for Americans it might be a little bit annoying, so you might need some special parts to get this off or that off, but you have tons of space in the engine bay. Like, these cars are extremely easy to work on. The only other like option I can think of that's like better is something like a 80s Civic, and that's literally it. However, let's address the other elephant in the room. That's right, there's 2 of them in the room, and they're starting to mate. And it's getting all over me, and I need to take a shower now. Reason number 2 why I think you should not buy a Mark 1 or 2 GTI is because of the straight line performance. Or realistically speaking, not even just the straight line performance, more so just the stock performance overall. These cars are, again, 40 years old, and back in the 80s, even then, it wasn't really the most impressive car in terms of its performance. It was a fun driver's car, and it still is, absolutely, to this day. We'll get into that in a little bit. But stock for stock, if you compare a Mark 1 or a Mark 2 GTI to a Mark 4, a Mark 5, a Mark 6, a Mark 7, Mark 8 GTI, there's no denying the fact that these cars can probably get a little bit boring, especially if you go from something like a modern car that has crazy straight line performance to something like this. It's just going to be a little bit underwhelming. The car does not make good power, plain and simple, from factory, and it will be a little bit disappointing, but it makes up for it in the corners. Which leads me into my next point on why I think you should buy a Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI. The fact that they are super lightweight and they have very, very good handling. It's kind of a twofer, obviously, because usually lighter weight cars do tend to have better handling because that's kind of how that works. But yeah, that's how it works with the Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTIs. It's kind of what their whole point was, and that's what the GTI has been built on ever since then. It's a lightweight car when you compare them to the other cars that are being built around that time that are really fun and an ultimate driver's car. Again, the Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTIs may not be fun on the highway, and they're not going to be fun trying to race in a Hellcat, but if you take it up a mountain road and you just start thrashing it around, throwing it around, maybe do some suspension mods to stiffen up that suspension just a little bit because it is a little bit top heavy, then you'll have an absolute blast. This is one of the most fun cars money can buy, probably. However, reason number 3 why I think you should not buy a Mark 1 or 2 GTI is a little bit weird because it's the space. Yeah, here's the thing, right? It is a hatchback. And so when you think of a hatchback, the whole point of a hatchback is that it's kind of meant to have kind of combine the best of both worlds, right? Combine the best of the SUV world while also combining the best of the car world. It's fun to drive, lightweight, good on gas, reliable, good commuter car, but it has some decent space, more space than a sedan or a coupe. However, and that is the case with the Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTIs for the 80s. Unfortunately, things have just gotten bigger. People have gotten bigger, and people's needs have gotten bigger. We carry a lot more things nowadays in our cars. They're almost like second homes to most of us. And the Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI might not have the space that you are expecting a hatchback to have. If you went from a Mark 6 GTI, for example, to a Mark 1, you're going to be a little bit disappointed with the space. However, reason number 4 why I think you should buy a Mark 1 or a Mark 2 GTI is the fact that they are a decent investment. Yeah, there are plenty of people out there who buy old GTIs, and honestly only any old like 80s style car, refurbish them or rebuild them, whatever you want to call it, and then sell it for profits. And you can absolutely do that with a Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI. There are a lot of these cars out there on Facebook Marketplace, like I said, that are pretty cheap, but the downside to that, and we'll talk about this literally in the next entry here, but the downside to that is that they might have a little bit of problems. They might not have been taken the best care of, and you're gonna have a little bit of a headache on your hands. But if you buy that car, take care of the headaches, and then sell it, you can make a decent amount of money on it. On top of all of that, these cars are cars that are enthusiast cars, plain and simple. There will never be a time where a Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI is not at least wanted by somebody. Someone is always going to want these cars, and you'll probably never at least lose money on it. They're definitely reached the bottom of their depreciation curve at this point. But yeah, like I just said 2 seconds ago, reason number 4 why I think you should not buy a Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI is the fact that they are hard to find in good condition. It's a little unfortunate, but it makes sense. They're a 40-year-old car, and there were a lot of them made, and so people just didn't really take the best care of them. And not even that, it's not even really the owner's fault too. Again, a car that's 40 years old, you're bound to get a little bit lazy here and there, and it's going to, the weather and the age of the car is going to show, unfortunately. And that is exactly what happened with the Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTIs. Super great cars, obviously, overall, but just the fact that the thing is, right, they're good cars when they're in good condition. But the problem is you're the one that has to put them into good condition, and that's obviously a little bit more annoying than you might expect. However, with that being said, reason number 5, and the final reason for today's video on why I think you should or should not buy a Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI is the aftermarket support and the community behind the GTI platform. There's no denying the fact that GTIs, ever since the dawn of time, the Mark 1, have been modified to the moon and back. People love modifying them because they are driver's cars. It's kind of what happens with driver's cars, is no matter what one it is, there's going to be companies out there building parts for them because there are going to be people out there buying them to build them up and make them more fun. That's exactly what happened with the Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTI. So there are tons of aftermarket support out there, tons of companies trying to sell you parts on these things. You have tons of options to choose from. On top of that, the community is great, which is obviously also really beneficial. I love there's little subgenres of the car community, and the Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTI subgenre typically stays with the whole like track-oriented guys, and the track-oriented guys are, in my opinion, the best subgenre of the car community because they just genuinely love driver's cars, and they just love to see people having fun in cars. However, finally, reason number 5 why I think you should not buy a Mark 1 or Mark 2 GTI, and the final reason for today's video, is simply the fact that they are not a clout machine. What I mean by that is, if you are the type of guy that is going to buy a car because you want to build up some sort of Instagram following, TikTok following, a YouTube channel, whatever it may be, the Mark 1 and Mark 2 GTI is just not the best option for you. Is there an audience for it? Absolutely. There absolutely is, but there's an audience for pretty much every car out there. However, there are plenty of other cars that are better suited for that, if that's what you're looking for the price. It's not the best option for that. And again, I know some people, I always say this whenever I bring up, like, building up platforms or whatever. I know a lot of car guys out there don't understand and are like, who cares about building up cars? Buy it for you. I agree. I buy the cars that I want to buy because I want to buy them. I'm right there with you. Even though I'm a YouTuber, I should actually worry about what my audience wants to see, but I don't. I want to build my own cars with my money. I want to buy my own cars. I get it. But there absolutely are people out there in the car community that do buy them to build up some sort of platform, and there's nothing wrong with that. So my final thoughts though, do I think that you should buy a Mark 1 or a Mark 2 GTI? I think the only people that this car makes sense for is dudes or dudettes that are looking for a lightweight and fun little project car for the cheap. Anybody looking for some sort of daily driver, whether you're just a regular person that doesn't care at all about how cool or fun your car is, or even if you're a car guy who says we're going to buy a daily driver, but we always buy the ones that are a little bit more fun, obviously. Either one of those people, I don't think this is a good idea. I think we're out of luck with this one. It's just too impractical, too old to make sense for its price. For its price, you could get a Mark 5, you could get a Mark 6 GTI, which is just overall better, a better driving experience, and you will have just as much fun in those cars. Well, maybe not just as much fun, but you'll be significantly less stressed out and still have a plenty of good amounts of fun driving a Mark 5 or a Mark 6 GTI for the price that you're paying for a Mark 1 or Mark 2. I think the only real people that this car makes sense for nowadays in the big 2.6 is, again, of course, the people looking for a project or the people looking for some sort of Sunday cruiser car to just take good care of and appreciate and enjoy on the back roads. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video on the 5 reasons you should and the 5 reasons you should not buy a Volkswagen GTI Mark 1 or Mark 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what videos you see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels when you have that great mumbo jumbo. And thank you guys all so much for watching. As always, when it comes to like the reasons you should and reasons you shouldn't and the good, bad, and ugly videos, I usually go off of recommendations. So if you guys have any cars you'd like to see me do one of these videos on or a good, bad, and ugly video on, the comments are always public. The next one of these 5 reasons you should and 5 reasons you shouldn't buy video is going to be on the Kia Stinger GT. Somebody said they wanted to see a Kia Stinger video. I already had a good, bad, and ugly, I believe, on the Kia Stinger GT, but I never did one of these, so I guess why not? We'll do that for sure. And then the next good, bad, and ugly is going to be on the 6th generation Honda Accord. I've never even talked about that car, I don't think, in my life, so that's going to be pretty fun to do because they are pretty cool cars. They're underrated in my opinion, so those are going to be the next ones. But again, I'm always open for suggestions. I got both of these, the 6th gen Accord and this Kia Stinger GT, off of recommendations. So if you guys want to see your cars, that's how I do it, man. You got to understand that it has to be something a little bit realistic for me though. As a YouTuber, you can't be like do a super niche car that only like 10 people are going to watch, because at the end of the day I do still have to worry about the views a little bit, but besides that, most of the time I just go over what you guys are saying. So whatever you guys want to see, I'll do. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night. Also guys, I feel like I've been doing really good with like not yapping lately. You guys agree? I feel like I don't yap as much as I used to. You guys used to always talk about how much I yap. Hey. Cut it out, I'm talking here. I feel like you guys always used to talk about how much I yap all the time. And now I feel like I've been doing pretty good with that. Alright, Das Vidania, have a nice night.